Hello guys, so here we are again for another episode of Q and A, Pewpew Q and A. So let's get started. So let's get some questions at my Facebook page, which is Clay Santos Competitive Shooter. So all of the questions that I get, I selected some of the questions that you PM'd and let's answer it. So wait, PM, I guess someone's comment on my post, so let's answer it. It's from walang kwenta. So it's English useless. So here is his question. Good PM, tatanong ko lang po kung ano yung unang nasirang part sa common airsoft pistol. Thanks po. Have a good day and more power. I'll be waiting for the next episode about this topic. So first part that will be broke on your airsoft pistols. This is a very broad question. It depends on the brand and model of your airsoft pistols. But let's assume that you're talking about high kappa or 1911. Most common for Wii, if you're using Wii products, most common is the firing pin block and disconnector. Those two, you should watch those, or else your gun will go on full auto. So you need to replace those, or you need to upgrade. For Tokyo Marui high kappas, it's very common that your slide will be broke if you're using green gas. Most of the countries using green gas nowadays, and Tokyo Marui is using plastic slides. In Japan, they're using 134A because of the FPS limit, so they're using plastic slides. So if you're using 134A on Tokyo Marui, you're not gonna have any problems. But if you're using green gas, you need to replace your slide. Tokyo Marui brands are intended for upgrade. So if you're a long-term shooter and you're doing airsoft seriously, go for Tokyo Marui. But if you're occasional shooter, occasional and you don't want to spend that much, you can go for Wii. There's nothing wrong with Wii, but don't expect good quality compared to TN. Wait, Punch Balolong is calling. So, nasa middle ako ng vlog ko. Vlog. Okay lang. Wait lang, hello. Total, nandito ka naman ah. Ano yung unang common na nasisira sa airsoft pistol? Sa mga ginagawa mo?
Noon sir, nagtaka yung sa hammer stop,
Knocker stop, medyo
nababali yung ano niya, yung parang rod na
tumutulak sa bibig.
push sa bibis.
Medyo pareho naman tayo ng sagot. So sige, usap na lang later. Ayun, may guest tayo. Sige, thank you. Ayun, that's from one of the best guns in the Philippines, Punch Balolong. So, yes, that's one of the common part that will broke to your airsoft pistols, the nozzle. So, you need to upgrade those, or you need to prepare for replacement parts for that one. So, thank you. Walang kuwenta for that question. So next question, this is also a nice question. It's from John Imperial. So here is his question. Alin po sa dalawa ang mas maganda? M4TM or GHK M4? So he's asking which is better, TM MWS GBBR or GHK GBBR M4 for M4 line. So this is a very debatable question. In Hong Kong or in other countries, Japan, Tokyo Marui is very popular. In some countries, GHK are very popular. It depends on the use of your rifle. And it depends on what kind of player you are. For example, if you want a green gas ready rifle that you don't want to tinker too much on your pistol, on your rifle, I mean, go for GHK. GHK has a very solid parts. It has steel parts, steel bolt. It's a green gas ready. Everybody's using green gas, so GHK is on the go if you don't want to spend that much for a rifle. But the downside of GHK is the support parts or aftermarket parts. Yes, they sell original parts, but aftermarket parts is not that many compared to TN. Meanwhile, TM is also good. The good thing about TM, their rifles is Cerakoted already. That means the rifle, it has a Cerakote, or it has a special paint job. That paint job is they using it in real guns. So expect the paint job. It's very good. It's not easy to get scratched. It won't flake. It's very good. And also TM GBBRs, it's all metal. It's not made out of plastic like their pistols, which is it's a very good base gun. The only downside is it's not again intended for green gas. Me personally, I'm using Tokyo Marui GBBRs. My only downside of it, if you're using green gas, the bolt is over, what you call that? It's bouncing because it's not intended for green gas. So you need to change some of the parts so it will work. Yes, it will work. It will also last for long even you don't use steel parts. Wait, my camera. So anyway, let's get back again. So even TM is not using steel parts, it's still working good. But the good thing about TM, even if they don't use steel parts, if you want to change to steel parts, it's very easy to find because most of the companies are providing parts for the Tokyo Marui GBBRs. Don't get me wrong, GHK also has those parts, but not as many as TMMWS. So for me, if you're a practical shooter, a rifle practical shooter, you're gonna use it on practical shooting, or you're living in a cold country, or your game site is air conditioned. If I were you, I'll go for Tokyo Marui GBBRs. But if you're living on a tropical country and you don't want to spend more than to your rifle, go for GHK. So that's my tip for you, John Imperial. Next question. A question from Carl Isaac Pabilona. Carl Isaac Pabilona. So, hi sir, good PM. Ano po kayang holster yung applicable for Shadow 2? Salamat. Saan kaya meron? Meron po ba kayong idea kung saan? It's very, hello Carl Isaac. It's very easy to find. You just need a little more budget. You can go for universal holsters, but I'm very sure that if you're a practical shooter, you're gonna go for JR holsters. In the Philippines, JR holster is very easy to find. You can go to their website. Their products is really, really good. If you're living on the other country, you can try Ghost Holster. Personally, I'm using Ghost Holster. They are the best. For me, they are the best. They're one of the best holsters. You can also go for the Double Alpha. For those three holsters, I can really highly recommend them. So, last question. From Tonyo de los Santos. Sir, mga ilang meters po ba dapat ang layo ng practice sa practical shooting and gaano kalaki ang targets? Thank you po. That's from Tonyo de los Santos. So he is asking the common range that we're shooting in practical shooting and the size of the target. No, he's not asking the common range, but how far we are shooting, how far is the target from us. So the target range, it depends on the range. Usually we shoot from 2 meters, upway to the I guess the longest shot that I did in competition is 18 to 21 meters. So that's very uncommon, the 21 meters. But the common range that we shot is around 4 meters to 7 meters. That's very common. So you can practice on those, but you need also to practice far and very close targets. But common range again is around 4 to 7 meters. The target size, usually they go around 3 inches to I guess 6 inches, 3 inches to 6 inches, if I'm mistaken, that big. So not sure, but as I remember, it's something like this. It's something like 6 inches, 3 inches to 6 inches. So that's it for this episode. So I hope you learned something from it, guys. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.